your interests at the expense of everybody else. So, as these reduced, wounded, cut-off beings, we've created a world in which that's true. We've created a world, this world is fundamentally abundant. We experienced that last night. And not just in terms of love, in terms of food, too. There's tens of millions of people who are starving or malnourished in this world, but it's not because there's not enough food. It's because it's of the way it's distributed. There's I don't even need to try to demonstrate that, do I? That we live in a world of abundance. Yeah. So, but we've created a world of scarcity. One way we've created that is through the money system. Anything that you try to do that's good in the world has to fight the money power. There's a big cognitive piece about that, it's in my writing about how and why money in its basic design necessitates the endless growth of the monetized realm and is the current against which any good impulse must swim. And because a lot of people, I think, we are going to touch on that here and there throughout this, because right now we're faced with the question of right livelihood, and how do I do what I want to do without participating in this conversion of the world into money? That's what the gift is about. The gift contradicts the maxim of the discrete and separate self that more for me is less for you. Because if you're in a gift circle, then your good fortune is also my good fortune. Because if you have more than you need, you're going to give it to me. But we don't give away our money very easily. And there's a reason for that. So, I want to look at my notes for a second. Yeah. Has anyone ever gone through this phase where you finally get science and you feel terribly alone? Let me read you something that Bertrand Russell wrote about that. No, well, here's another one. Here's Jacques Monod. He was a biologist. He's talking about objectivity, scientific objectivity. If we accept this message, accept all it contains, then man must at last wake out of his millenary dream, and in so doing, wake to his total solitude, his fundamental isolation. Now does he at last realize that, like a gypsy, he lives at the boundary of an alien world, a world that is deaf to his music, just as indifferent to his hopes as to his suffering or his crimes. Nothing you do matters. No matter what, you're just a bunch of protons, neutrons, and electrons. You're just a mass bumping up against other masses according to deterministic laws. Love, what's love? Love is just a chemical cascade in your brain, in your body. That's all. And it's happening in order to help you to reproduce and to take care of your genetic offspring. Because if you love them, then they'll be more likely to survive and those genes will be more likely to be passed on. Sorry, that's just the facts. That's what love is. And science is understanding love better and better, understanding these chemical cascades better and better. And that's all that's really going on. You know, you can make all kinds of nice stories about it, but at the scientific level, and you know, the chemical level, the biological, the physical level, that's all that's happening. Anything else is just a pretty story, and you're just going to have to get used to it.
Are you telling me that my experience of oneness and my that I've had on in my life is just a kind of mere refractors that exist in the brain?
Yes. There's a part of your brain that's responsible for sensing your physical extension, your physical boundaries, and placing you in space. And when that part of the brain shuts down, then your sense of where your boundaries begin and end disappears. So basically, your sense of oneness is a brain malfunction.
What about experiences of people who died and they've been out of their bodies, they've actually been clinically dead, and then they come back and they tell these experiences of incredible transition into the light?
Well, okay. There are, I don't remember the exact neurological explanation for those, but such explanations have been offered.
It's an ischemic reaction.
Yeah, here we have a medical doctor here. Yeah. Okay, such explanations have been offered.
And those that haven't will be.
Now you see, this actually gets into some very deep material, because you can offer things that blatantly violate this scientific story. This is our fundamental myth, though. Objectivity is the deepest myth. It's the guiding myth of our culture, and it's impregnated into our language. Words like actually, really, and exists, they buy into some deep assumptions about what it is to be. Basically, it's to exist. Like, okay, so suppose you're investigating UFOs, okay? And you say, someone claims that they saw a UFO. I saw it landed in my backyard last night. There it was. It looked like this. And it's, okay, well, I don't believe you. You're making this up, right? And so let's try to figure this out scientifically. And the experiencer says, okay, let's do that. Let's figure it out, because it really did exist. Another guy's like, no, it really didn't exist. Both of them are actually in agreement. They're in agreement that there is a fact of the matter, whether it existed or not. And what are they? They're agreeing that to exist means to occupy point X, comma Y, comma Z at time T. That's what it is to exist. And that's objectivity. This is scientifically obsolete. You cannot say that about an electron in an objective way, okay? And this crisis in our story, this is a crisis of the most deep story of our civilization. And we have not gotten this yet. Philosophers and quantum physicists have gone through all kinds of contortions to try to reconcile what they've discovered on the quantum level with the myth that underlies our culture. But just imagine what happens if you import this into the legal realm, Like, did so-and-so actually, well, what if it was there for you and not for me? I mean, this is it's more than revolutionary. In economics.
Even
Yeah.
in art,
Mm-hmm.
I just received a commission for a sculpture at the Science Center at a high school in Orange County, and I wanted to relate it to waveform, kind of a more quantum. I emailed him that, and he says, "You don't understand. We're a conservative high school. We want it to look